It's at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Attention. Attention.
They are not ready for prime time.
Prime time.
Prime time.
Prime time. That's the name.
Prime time.
Prime time.
What time is it?
Showtime. Prime time.
It's XL Prime Time. Featuring Joe C.,
I reduced my toilet paper down to 3 squares.
Matt Hayes,
Big asses and big thighs. Yeah.
and Leon Searcy.
Bringing you love, peace, and soul.
How you like me now? How you like me now?
Well, it's a fair question. How you like it right now? It's better than maybe some people thought. It's probably going to be what others expected. We will see. But here we are, 2 o'clock hour. About this time tomorrow, hurricane-like winds covering the First Coast. At least that's what they're talking about. But our hearts, our prayers, our thoughts are going out to, I guess basically we could call it the Gold Coast, Sarasota, Tampa,
Central Florida.
You can name them all, but basically
Space
along
Coast,
along the Gulf of Mexico, and we're looking at some of the maps and whatnot as far as what they're expecting. But it'll be torching a lot of areas, tearing through the center of our state, and hopefully it won't hurt us too much. But like we said, we're worried about them down there too.
Yeah, you know I had to call Auntie, right? Auntie lives in Orlando. I had to make sure Auntie was good. She said, I'm all right, baby. I done got my supply.
She said she was
good. She gassed up. She got plenty of food. You know, Auntie is a bit of a, wilderness type of person. So
She's a survivor.
She's a survivor. She builds her own stuff, this and that, plants her own food, all that kind of stuff. So she said, we good.
She is a survivalist.
She is a survivalist, bro. She is. Auntie can handle it.
I do love that. I do love that. It takes you back to the old days where they basically said, batten down the hatches, hunker down, whatever phrase you want to use. Now, I'm happy for the people who said we got to pick up stakes and we got to get the H out of here because you really don't want to be staring at the eye of that storm. But anyway, if you did have anybody down in South Florida, down on the Gulf Coast, let us know, 641-1010. I will start out by saying my buddy Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, they're going to bring you today's show because they've got as much as they can to help you with generators. They will be open until 6. We'll give you all the details. But he had, I think 4 families that picked up stakes in Tampa and came and bunked at his house. They're on the shag sleeping at night and basically coming here to seek refuge. We've heard from a number of families that have that tie to North Florida, so they made it up here. So you guys let us know what's cooking.
By the way, you could also call Cycles of Jackson, order a generator for the people in North Carolina. You can also do that too.
Oh, yes.
If you're inclined to out there,
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are still hurting up there, and it's crazy that you had one really serious event on top of another that's coming our way right now. Because, Helene still has created some hellish situations for a lot of people, ripping through Florida, Georgia, into the Carolinas. You can go there as well. Cycles of Jacks, we say thanks to them. They're on Atlantic near Regency, and like we said, they're basically the warehouse of fun on-road, off-road, on the water. But for this particular time, they've got those big bad boy generators, and they will definitely be helping you as much as they possibly can. They will be there until 6 tonight, and then also back open on Friday. And you can definitely check their Facebook page. They just basically wanted to let people know that they can come there and get the help that they need. And GMAC was ready to deploy folks to St. Aug to make sure that I stayed powered up.
Nice.
Because I did get one of my generators from him back in the day, and I'm not the maintenance-wise, if you had to rate Matt Hayes and his maintenance schedule on things that are important to him versus my maintenance schedule on things that are important to me, he takes care of stuff. Me, not so much. And so my generator kind of conked out. I left some gas in there to where it just basically got, I guess
water,
rotted gas or whatever. Yeah,
water.
It just starts to pull moisture in.
Wait, you left it there over the entire since the last time you used it?
I'm not even going to tell you.
Why would you do that?
I've since drained it. Like, we're talking storms and storms ago. I left it in there a little too long, And
did Greg just say the same thing I said to you? Yeah. Why would you do that?
Anyway, I drained it, and then I just haven't necessarily gotten back to fix it.
Don't feel bad, bro. I'm not a maintenance man either.
Did you drain the oil too and put fresh oil in it?
Yeah, there was a time when I was proud of myself, Leon, when it came to things like this. Okay, I was jack of all trades, master of none. I was a blue collar boy. Okay, that's how I was raised. KC, he raised me right, but then I just got lazy. There's really no other way to say it.
You did. Your dad would be embarrassed if you left gas in that thing.
Wait a minute. You got domesticated? Is what you're saying?
Well, just soft. Really,
I wasn't
giving you. Domesticated.
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt. And I ain't wanted to go there.
Beer-ticated or however you
there you go. There you go. It's soft without that T, is what we're saying. But it's funny because KC, like back in our day when we were kids, my brother and I, we ran those Chevy little pickup trucks that we had into the ground, and we would not take care of our oil.
You wouldn't.
We would not do what we were supposed to do, and he'd sideline us. We'd get us a good old, back then when it was allowed, a good old whooping. And then that truck would be parked for a while because we couldn't figure out how to change our own oil and stuff like that. All right, so if you are out there and you are battening down the hatches, you guys can hit the text line 641-1010. Let us know what's up, especially in those low-lying areas. I've talked to a number of people from Clay County, Nassau County, St. John's, Duval throughout the course of today. And for the most part, everyone is thinking and hoping that it will just kind of stay south of us, which will be good for us. But like we said, hopefully everybody else that is in the path of it will be okay. That's for sure. Now, you know what we're in the path of? We could be in the path of a 2-game win streak for these Jags. We could be. And don't go wishing and thinking that this thing is all of a sudden course corrected because it still is a 1-4 football team that is an underdog heading across the pond to London. So it's not like they are looked at by the odds makers, by the people who place these big wagers on NFL football games as the team to beat Sunday playing the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, it's a business trip. And, and we've been there. They haven't. That wheels in our favor a little bit, if you want to say that. Mm-hmm. This team has got back on track offensively, I think, for one game. I mean, they had the potential in the Texan game, missed a couple of shots down the field that we could have made, but those shots that we made in the Colts game, helped with Trevor Lawrence's protection has been great. Back-to-back games, running game.
Much better.
Much better, absolutely. Much better on the running game. My concern is the back end, back end of the defense. I mean, Trayvon Walker did what he did, the pressures. Josh Allen did what he did.
I'll give you an example, Leon, when you talk about the back end being as bad as what. Ronald Darby played all 70 snaps.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, yet that's a really bad thing.
Yeah. He had to play him because he had to play all 70 snaps in the game. That's troubling to me because the Chicago Bears going into the game, they've got an arsenal as far as weapons go.
Yeah.
And Caleb Williams, over the last couple of weeks, his completion rate has risen. It's gone better. He threw a couple of touchdowns in the game against the Carolina Panthers, a layup to everybody in the field.
Sure, they did get.
Well, that can be said about us too. We're just now 1-4.
Very true.
So, but you come back from London with these 2 wins, roster to roster, we look better. But on that Sunday, we've got to play better. So you come back here 3-4, and you got a home game with the Green Bay Packers. Let's see what happens.
You never know.
So at some point we have to talk about this as well too. We're now 5 games into this season, and they've forced 2 turnovers.
Oh, they've been pitiful.
Is that bad?
2.
Yeah. And by the way,
no picks.
Exactly.
2
they
recoveries.
have not picked off a ball yet.
Where were the active hands and Cam? Remember we talked about active hands and Cam, the strips and the knockdowns and the interception? What happened?
You want to know why you're 1-4? That's a big reason why you're 1-4.
Okay, give me that right now, RJ, because that is 100% correct. This team is not forcing turnovers, and they haven't gotten their mitts on a ball yet. Of that, yeah.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Not saying this is the absolute answer, but they have put Tyson Campbell back in a position to come off injured reserve. They basically reactivate him. He's got time now to come back, that 21-day notice where he can be activated again. But they haven't gotten near a football.
They're -7 in turnover ratio.
I think
you're not winning games in the NFL when you're -7 turnover ratio.
Oh my gosh, it's horrible. And I think we talked about this before this last game. Cisco, 4 games into the year last year, had been all around the football, had forced turnovers, had picked the ball off. And right now, he is a liability. That is what he looks like.
Does he look heavier? Does he look heavier?
He does.
He looks
Yes,
a
he
little heavier
does.
to me. I don't know.
Does he?
He does a little bit to me. He feels, I don't know.
Well, he certainly
he runs 10-man-ish now.
Really?
Unlike last year, he was just like a ball hawk. It just seemed like he was everywhere.
And what is he, Leon? He's a free. He's supposed to be running free.
Yes.
And Coach talked about this a bunch on the Campo and Joe podcast. You guys can go find it on our social channels because he really drills down on it. But the phrase that he uses is overlapping. And Andre Cisco needs to be the overlap guy, the guy that can cover up someone else's mistakes. Buster Brown played all 70 snaps the other day against the Colts. And we all know what Joe Flacco did. He embarrassed him. He torched him. Play after play after play. Went down the field, zip, 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 score. Went 10 for 10 to start the game. Cisco needs to be that overlap guy that's not going to make you look silly and not have 17 points go on the board in a little over 3 minutes, which was the Alec Pierce 2 big connections with him, the Mo Alley Cox connection. It was ridiculous.
Well, listen, I expect a little bit more out of him, knowing this is his contract year. This is his money year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's burning it, to be quite honest with
That's
you.
exactly what
He's burning the first these first 5 games. He has not looked. Listen, compared to how he played last year.
Yeah.
I mean, last year he was everywhere. Big hits, big tackles, interceptions, all that kind of stuff. This year, he just, I don't want to say he's lost because he's a professional, but it just seems he's on the back end of a lot of these deep throws.
Yeah.
When he's supposed to be covering up a lot of these big throws from being made.
Yeah. And the thing is, the worst that with the analytics and whatnot is when he is the closest defender to a big play, they're going to list that.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to be there or close to being there, but wasn't there. And so, it's Trent Baalke said, bigger, faster, stronger. Well, he does look a little bit bigger, might be a little stronger, but he ain't faster.
Not faster.
and for a free safety, that's what you got to be. And Antonio Johnson, at the same time, you can call it a 2-safety look, however you want to describe these guys. Both of them are right now liabilities. Now they're going against...
I can excuse Antonio Johnson a little bit. He played 111 career plays for this year.
I get it.
I get that. He's
100%.
on the job training right now, but Cisco's got to play better, man.
Yes.
And he made a couple plays in the last game in run support, but man, in coverage, wow.
Right.
Wow.
And as we said, contract year can be good and bad. It can make you money or it can cost you money. And that's basically what's happening. And by the way, just for what it's worth, there's a little bit of a saucy because, like we said, don't get all crazy that Jacksonville just finally got to 1-4. You could sit there and think about what could have happened because this team easily could be 4-1, but that's just the way it is. That record is not 4-1. It's 1 and flipping 4. So the Jaguars' first win of the season came in week 5. It's the 4th time since 1970, just the 4th since 1970 that every team has had at least 1 win through the first 5 weeks. So there have been winless
Saucy
teams
nugs
this deep into the season, and Jacksonville was finally able to get off the schneid, the last to do it. All right, normally we'd say thanks to the Golf Club of Southampton. We'll tell you when they're back open on Friday. We say thanks to Cycles of Jacksonville. Don't forget, they will help you if you are looking to make sure that you do not lose power. They got big generators. They're out of stock on the small ones, but they definitely can hook you up on the big ones, and they will have more coming in. You can find them on Atlantic near Regency. You can log on cyclesofjacksonville.com and check for the latest updates on their Facebook page. It is XL Primetime. If you're hanging out with us, we appreciate it. I got one guy who texts us and says, Jack's native, moved to St. Pete last year, back to Jack's for the Hurricane this week. So welcome back, big brother.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL. Take your shot at a weekly tailgate combo pack valued at $100 from Southern Steer Butcher.
And monthly winners get a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and collectible football.
It's the ultimate tailgate. Enter now at 1010XL.com.
Joe C. for Roland Reese Plumbing, and I can promise you this. If you are down and out, let's just say the power goes out or you got to deal with the lengthy storm that's going to dump a lot of rain on you, you're going to be inside most of the time. You want that plumbing to work. Trust me on that. And so that's the company that you can rely on, and it could be an emergency situation 24/7. They are available, and we're talking local company that has been in this business or in this area, in this business for over a quarter of a century. So when you get ready to hunker down, make sure you've got all your plumbing problems solved. And when you have a leak and can't wait a week, trust those pros. Call Roland Reich Plumbing.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need any special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
Now, the Hurricane Report. Brought to you by Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
The Miami Hurricanes were down 35-10 late in the third quarter and somehow survived and won 39-38 against the Cal Bears. After a rough start, Cam Ward accounted for 277 yards and 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. The Hurricane Report brought to you by Performance Painting.
Poker players, brace yourselves. The World Poker Tour storms into Best Bet Jacksonville October 31st to November 19th, and the forecast calls for massive prize pools. Event 1 has a cool $200,000 guarantee. Event 6, a downpour of $300,000. And the main event, a flood of a $1 million guarantee. WPT Championship satellites are already brewing. Don't get left high and dry. Head to bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Follow the Canes as they storm the ACC.
I'm 1010XL's JJ LaSalva, and every week I'll bring you the Miami news and notes you need to know.
The Performance Painting Hurricane Report on 1010XL. Prepare, protect, preserve.
RJ Saunders here, sports lovers. I recently took a tip from Frank Frangie when I needed to send flowers to my mother. Frank told me that Kuhn Flowers is the only florist he ever uses. So that's what I do now. I use Kuhn Flowers. Find them online at kuhnflowers.com.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Packer here, and I can't believe it. 100 pounds gone. 6 months ago, I never would have dreamed this was possible. I'm going to say it again because it feels so good. I've dropped 100 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. To put that in perspective, I've taken roughly 10 inches off my waist. I'm down from a XXX to an XL, and I did it all in slightly over 6 months. It's not just about the number on the scale. It's also about getting my life back, playing with my son, and being more physically active. Now, we're celebrating big time. I'm hosting hosting an exclusive football watch party to celebrate this huge milestone, and you'll have a chance to join me. Let's watch some football, eat some great food, and if you have questions about Awaken 180, ask me. Details to come, but don't wait on that. Call Awaken 180 today and learn how fast you can reach your goals. 844-346-1800 or online, awaken180weightloss.com.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Guys, don't suffer through this season with prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations with advanced urological care to improve your health and vitality. Visit ackermanurology.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
In trouble in the backfield, wants to throw now, and he's going to go deep. And I mean deep, and I mean touchdown, Florida! Tyree Cleveland in a miracle finish. A Hail Mary that's full of grace for the Gators.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
You know, those were glorious sounds for a variety of reasons. Gator Nation listening and going, well, yeah, that was when Brad Nessler and CBS SEC football was at the top of your Saturday enthusiasm, and Florida was on top of that Tennessee Volunteer squad with a great play late in the game.
That was high watermark for Sharknado, was it not?
Yeah, it was, because he did not have too many, even though, well, actually, yeah, he spent most of his time underwater. You're right. That was a high watermark for good old Sharknado.
Top of water, on top of things on top of water.
Yeah, floating.
Allegedly.
With some protection all over him. But anyway, that was a great play. And Florida-Tennessee, for many, many, many years, was a great rivalry, continues to be one full of storylines, because Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers came into Gainesville thinking they were going to take care of business last year, and they didn't, but they are a large favorite in this football game this year. So we will get into that coming up here in just a second. All right, we'll talk a lot of the big college football games, because there's a bunch of them, and we basically set it up today and tomorrow and probably even Friday. We'll have it set up there. There's going to be a lot of couch potato viewership because of the weather. So you're going to be sitting there logging a lot of football watching. So we'll try and give you as many things to think about as possible. Real quick, off the text line, though, just as far as where the Jacksonville Jaguars are when you think of their turnover ratio, and I do love our texters, because a couple of them pointed it out, you know, when you talk about the turnovers that they've been able to force, one of them was a muff punt. And so you can't even really take credit for that.
Right, it's only one.
Yeah, you can't even really take credit for that. But they are right now sitting at -3. Now, can you name the teams that are behind them? -3. And you can even say tied. I'll give you the ones that are tied with them. Carolina is tied, -3. Houston tied, -3. Yet they've been able to make their own fortunes. They've only suffered one loss. Jacksonville is -3. Seattle is -3. Now, Seattle, they're up and down. There's no question about that. Carolina, we know where they are. Who are the teams behind them? There are a total of 4 that are behind them. So that's how far down they are in turnover ratio. Just to eliminate a couple, just so you guys can be thinking about this. Buffalo is at the top, +7. Green Bay, +7. +5 are the Bears. So Chicago makes stuff happen on the defensive side of the ball. The LA Chargers are +5. Any guesses as far as who would be below Jacksonville? -4 or worse.
Cowboys.
I will not make this a bold fact. I got one.
But the Jags have forced 2, right?
Yeah, they're -3 in the total turnover giveaway. Yeah, -3.
So they've forced no interceptions, and they have 2 fumble recoveries. That's +2, right?
Well, 2 interceptions by Trevor.
No. They have 2 fumble recoveries and 0 interceptions on defense, so they're -2 there. Trevor has 2 interceptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And fumbles and 1 fumble lost. All right, so that's 3.
That's ETNs.
Right. Mm-hmm. So then they're -1 is what they are.
Well, I'm just looking at the football database. They're -3.
Wait. They're -3 and -2. No, -3 and 2. So the -1 is what they are.
I really don't know what else to tell you.
They have 3 turnovers.
Other than
2 interceptions and 1 fumble, right?
Yeah,
that's 3.
I got what's called here,
and they're +2. So they have -1.
I got what's called the football database. It shows takeaways. It shows giveaways.
How many takeaways do they have?
It shows the plus or minus as far as the total is concerned. I guess we'll get away from my question, and we'll get to Matt's question because this is usually how it goes. It's interesting and worth noting: an undefeated team is worse than Jacksonville in giveaways and takeaways.
Chiefs,
Kansas City is -4.
What?
Okay.
What are the Jags positive? Tell me that.
Kansas City is Just hang on. Kansas City is -4. Philadelphia is -6. Las Vegas is -7. That's why they're losing some football games. And the mighty Tennessee Titans are -7. So those are the ones that are behind Jacksonville. Interceptions and fumbles. Are you ready? Interceptions and fumbles. For the teams that are behind Jacksonville, you have got Kansas City with 2 picks and 2 fumbles. Philly, 2 picks. Las Vegas, 2 picks. Tennessee with 2 fumbles. Now, as far as giveaways are concerned, this is where you were talking about earlier, Matty, the interceptions and the fumbles. These are the giveaways. With the next 2 piles here, you have got, let me get down where I need to be. You got Kansas City, believe it or not, 8 on the giveaway side. 8, which is a bunch. Philadelphia has 4 and 4 also, so they have 8 as well. Vegas has 9. Tennessee has 9.
And this team is 5, correct?
Jacksonville has 2 and 3, yes.
Okay, so if they're -5 and they're +2, that means they're -3.
Yeah, I only have them listed as the 2 on one side and then a total of 5 on the other side. Yeah.
So -3. That's the turnover rating.
That's what I started out with. -3.
I don't think he did.
That's what I started out with the whole time.
Yeah, I think he said you tried to say it was -1.
Yeah, I said -3 the whole time.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's because, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
What I heard was 3, 2, 1. That's where I got 1 from.
Yeah, that's the way this whole thing started, is that they are -3.
All right. They're -3, which is not good.
Exactly. Exactly.
They're -5. I mean, -5 is not, it's bad.
Right.
But you can get away with -5 if you're turning people over, too.
Right. I was going to say, Kansas City's below them, like Leon guessed, and it's very simple. They make their own hay when they need to. They do what it takes to win, and they would cough the football up, and it could have been a fumble, could have been a Mahomes pick.
Yeah, but they have the X factor.
Yeah.
He overcomes those type of things.
He's the dude.
The dude, yes, the man.
Yeah, and so even though, let's see here, total of interceptions for Kansas City, which I'm still a little surprised by this, a half dozen. I'm still a little surprised by that, but 2 fumbles to go along with that. But then they also have turned it around and been able to win football games. So they're -4 in the overall category. So they're not last. The Tennessee Titans are down at the bottom, -7, along with Las Vegas. But this team, Jacksonville, needs to figure out a way to pick off the football. They have not done it. And Buster Brown, of all of them, has done a decent job. We know that Cisco has been more of a liability than he's been a playmaker. And Ronald Darby has been 100% one of the leakiest pieces back there in the secondary.
Well, when's the last time you seen this team gang tackle? You know what I'm saying? You get guys on guys and the guys ripping at the ball.
Yeah.
You got to have that kind of stuff.
I
Even
agree.
in the run game and in the pass game. When they hold that receiver up and rip after that ball, you got to create some kind of turnovers.
Yeah.
Especially since they had 27 last year.
Yeah.
16 picks and 11 fumble recoveries.
Yeah, it's nuts. And I don't right now see a path where they're going to turn this thing around right away just because they're down in numbers. But Antonio Johnson, you were drafted to be a physical guy and come up and support the run, but also be back there in coverage. Cisco, you were making plays for this football team. You were part of what Matt just mentioned as far as the takeaways, the picks last year.
Yeah, I mean,
and Tyson Campbell being hurt is not helping him one bit.
Yeah, back to Cisco a little bit. Some of his angles seem to be off in the games too, whatever. He seems to be undercutting a lot of this deep stuff on the back end of the ball instead of like last year. I mean, he was right there. I mean, you got when your guy, if you're in man coverage and you get a free release, I mean, you got to come over the top. His angles have been terrible in a lot of these games.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I don't know if he's not. If the new system is messing with him, but whatever it is,
might be.
He's not. He's still really good in run support, but in coverage, ooh boy.
Yeah, and the thing is
he's struggling.
You wouldn't necessarily ask your free to be, and I'm still considering him to make free safety because he's the one who's supposed to be able to roam and make plays. You shouldn't be relying on him for good run support. That's where Antonio Johnson needs to step up and make those plays.
Neither one of those guys are free safeties.
They're not making enough of them.
Yeah.
Right.
I do
right
love
now they're just left and right is what they're calling them. They have to be.
And I can tell you this too, Cisco, I mean, because he had success under Mike Caldwell's defense.
Yeah.
He was able to free flow. With this new defensive structure, he's struggling. And it's costing them money.
It is funny because it's kind of like Reggie Nelson. Reggie Nelson was considered the eraser when he was at Florida, came here, not so much. He was a late first-round draft pick, but he was a first-rounder. They let him go, went on and had a huge career because the guy that was coaching him figured out how to make him, put him in the best position to make plays. Yeah. I am laughing on the text line when they say, Matt, you're confusing him. Too much math. No, I think I started out with the right math. It just got confusing.
I don't think you did.
Really confusing after that. It is XL Primetime. Cycles of Jacksonville. Don't forget, in the generator biz, if you need it and you're worried about the storm, they've got the big setups for you. Just drop on by on Atlantic near Regency.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Mia here. Have you been betting and winning at MyBookie.com? If you haven't bet with MyBookie yet, they are still running the double deposit bonus. Just sign up with promo code 1010XL. We are on to Week 6 in the NFL, a ton of college matchups that run through the weekend. Get some skin in the game on all of these elite matchups. You should certainly have your eye on that spread for Florida, Tennessee Saturday night. You know that we play the Bears Sunday on NFL over in London, and we're probably going to be a slight underdog here in Duval County. If you think the Jags can win in London, bet it. The Surgeon Commanders, meanwhile, play the Ravens in a DMV battle. The Cowboys play the Lions. And for Sunday Night Football, Bengals traveling to New York to play the Giants. For a limited time, MyBookie still has that double deposit bonus. Use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit up to $1,000. Double your money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Nick in here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Malufa Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders, Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 9, 1966, the Baltimore Orioles win their first World Series championship in franchise history after a 4-0 sweep over the LA Dodgers.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
Are you ready to upgrade your home? Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen, energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires October 31st and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
I've known Glenn Coleman for a long time as a friend and a lawyer. Persistent and fair, Glenn and his firm have represented clients from North Florida and South Georgia for over 40 years in all kinds of personal injury cases. If I had such a case, call Glenn at Barnes, Cohen, and Sullivan.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars have a real chance to get tight end Evan Ingram back on Sunday against the Bears. Ingram has been sidelined since Week 2 with a hamstring injury. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson updated his status this morning.
Well, it's looking good today, for practice. Obviously you don't want any setbacks. You don't want anything to happen during the week. But, we'll limit his volume, ramp him up, give him what he needs, and see how he is at the end of the week. But him being back is definitely a boost for the offense.
Doug Peterson this morning with the latest injury update on tight end Evan Ingram. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
At the Florida 35. Martin threw it right into the hands of Alex Brown. He picked it off. They think he's about to emerge into a big-time receiver. Brown's a big-time end tonight. 5 sacks for Florida, 3 for Alex Brown.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
Well, you haven't necessarily seen that type of pass rush from a Florida Gator football team in a while, but that was Brown back in the day. Alex Brown, when he was terrorizing quarterbacks in a Gators uniform.
I was surprised, bro. I mean, I remember he was a stud, but 5 sacks in one game?
Yeah.
And an interception?
Yeah.
Who was the tackle in that game at Tennessee, and why was he still playing? 5 sacks, man. That's a grown man. 5 sacks.
He probably could have had 7 in that game.
Wow.
He was dominating in that game.
Florida, Tennessee week. How do you Gator fans feel after beating Central Florida and now a double-digit dog in a big way heading up to Rocky Top? We're talking nearly a 3-score spread between these two teams. 641-1010. You guys can hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Just let us know what you think and what you're feeling when it comes to that game. And do they have it in them? Can Billy just basically pull a little magic out of the hat and get this team back in the driver's seat for wins and get people off of his back trying to fire him. Methinks no. Methinks that win against UCF, especially with the second half, they didn't play as well as they did to start the game. And that was more, I believe, of an indictment on Gus Malzahn and what he put on the football field versus what Billy did.
So I think, unfortunately, this game is going to be for Tennessee a get-back-right game.
Probably.
After this point lost to Arkansas.
So
that may not be good for y'all.
Yeah. And look, those are usually the ones when they're like, you know what? If we don't send a message, if we don't get right back here and get well, especially, and I think I told you guys this yesterday or the day before, it was 14-3. Tennessee was leading that ball game in the third quarter against Arkansas. They were in a good position and then could not generate anything really that would stick. And then all of a sudden, Arkansas kind of got hot, and they were able to come up with a surprising upset. But, yeah, you can't have that happen. And Tennessee wants to get the attention of the voter in a positive way coming up on Saturday. What do you think?
So, a couple things, actually. Nico went on the road in Oklahoma, and that was a different situation because Oklahoma couldn't move the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They literally had a quarterback who couldn't complete a pass.
Yeah, it was, and they made a quarterback change.
And then
after
Hawkins
that
came in, and they got a little
bad.
stressed, and they scored a little bit, and it was a different game a little bit. I mean, Tennessee had still was complete control of the game.
Yeah.
They go to Arkansas, and Arkansas has an offense. Like, Taylor Green's a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he went out with that knee injury in the fourth quarter, he's a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they have good skill guys, and they can block. So, I think it's different in that sense because Nico wasn't allowed the ability to have that lead early to where all he had to do was just run the ball. And they just ran the ball against Oklahoma because Josh didn't want to get in a situation where he had to put the ball in Nico's hands and Nico was going to commit a turnover and then bad things happen.
Right.
You get in Fayetteville, it's a little bit different now. It's a little bit different. Like, he doesn't have that type of lead. And the team on the other side can score.
Yeah, because you have to ask yourself the question, when you do put it on him, and he will have the benefit of a over 100,000 who might mine their own moonshine in their backyard screaming like crazy. May or may not, screaming like crazy. So he will have the benefit of that crowd right on top of that Florida defense, and he won't necessarily hear a sound. He will be able to operate and cook, and we'll find out whether or not he can do that. If he plays with the lead, I think we know how good he can be. He is a guy that absolutely can operate. But you got guys up front.
He also plays much better at home.
Yeah, of course.
Much better.
Which makes all the sense in the world. Because
he's a young guy.
Yeah, he's young. He doesn't necessarily know how to diffuse. Leon would always say he would love when they would yell at him and just kind of fire him up. But sometimes it's hard for a young player to figure out how to diffuse those moments in their brain because they can get rattled with that crowd noise.
Yeah, you feel more comfortable at home, of course. But I always used to use the away game, the road games as motivation because there was nothing more refining to your team is than when there's silence in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you want to get to that point where you got control of the game, and you want them silent at the end.
First off, he's only started 6 games. Okay, one was a neutral site ball game, one was a neutral site game against NC State,
right?
2 other home games against Cupcakes, Chattanooga and Kent State, and then on the road against Oklahoma and on the road against Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So he still hasn't even started a home SEC game yet. So
no,
he's still learning right now. I mean, if you're Florida, you think, all right, well, maybe that gives us a little hope. Maybe, or they get home and they're comfortable and they run all over Florida, which is what I would say all along. That's Florida's weakness on defense.
Yeah.
Stopping the run. I don't know what UCF was doing or why they were trying to throw the ball, but I don't know why they weren't just lining up and running the ball.
Yeah, because that really is in and of itself a mystery because that did seem to be the biggest of Achilles' heels on the defensive side. Florida, even though they haven't created too much pass pressure, they still were worse against the run. And yet Gus, who had 2 good running backs, Harvey being the biggest of the 2, he just didn't go to him.
Like chucking it around the first half, and then they're down, 24-3. Then what?
How y'all struggle with the run? Y'all got an unmovable object right there in the middle.
Yeah,
he got to move a little too, and he doesn't really move.
Yeah, the reason
he's like furniture. I mean, he's immovable.
Yeah, run around him at some point.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just figuring.
Yeah, so
run away from him. He's not going laterally anywhere.
You got all that wide body. You got to do something with it.
Yeah, he's immovable. So they just don't even have to worry about him because they know he can't get from here to there. Yeah. By the way, on that note, Desmond Watson, who we're talking about, a big 450-pound human being, KJ Jefferson looked a little closer to Desmond Watson when it was all said and done Saturday night. I told you guys he was second heaviest in the FBS.
Yeah, he did look big.
He did not play a very good game at all. So my kids who are diehard UCF Knights fans, not pleased with him. And that was one of the main keys to the win for Florida because they easily corralled him. He did not look comfortable at all. And so, yeah, that's where they're at. But, yeah, they're going to be facing an entirely different offense, play caller, battery of weapons. But Squirrel's hurt. Bruce hurt. There's a couple big linemen for Tennessee.
Yeah, they're both playing.
Yeah, at least that's the plan right now, correct?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's nicked up, man. It's football.
Well, of course, yes. I'm just saying they are.
Am I not right, bro? It's football,
I know,
man.
but we're talking about guys who did get injured versus guys who didn't.
Right, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
And so at the very least, I'm just simply saying that if you are going to get,
you're trying to find a sliver of hope.
Yeah,
what you're trying to do.
They're a big dog.
That's fine.
Look, you want to talk about the conflict of all conflicts? There are Gator fans out there trying to figure out what they want. Do I want to win over Rocky Top, or do I want to dispatch this coach? And so they don't know how to go with this thing. It doesn't look good, so you can prep yourself and prepare yourself for a loss.
Well, what do you do, Mr. Orange and Blue? Do you want the L?
Well, I might have been rooting for that one last week, but I had to settle the kids down.
Yeah, okay? But that was you had a little pull with UCF too.
Yeah.
Now you hate Tennessee.
Yeah.
So you want the L or you want the dub?
Yeah, I don't mind punishing the son-in-law with another L. I mean, he's been tortured enough, but still, I don't mind. He's trying to dress up our grandbabes in that checkered orange and white. I won't have it, but that's where they are. So I wouldn't mind it, but that's a better football team right now. And Josh Heupel's got to be feeling a little bit of pressure.
I would be shocked if they don't play really well in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, I mean. Shocked.
Yeah. Well, they do have to be feeling a little bit of pressure based on what they just did or more what they didn't do. And you got to make sure. I was looking for a number.
Well, I mean, their margin for error has been halved, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, 10-2 is kind of the line you got to hit. Mm-hmm. I don't think a 9-3 is going to get in there. I mean, maybe a 9-3 will get in, but I think 10-2 is more likely. And they still got to play Alabama at home. They still got to play Georgia on the road. They still got to play, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
At Vandy.
Yeah. Don't sleep on Vandy. I think Alabama has taught everyone else a very valuable lesson when it comes to that because Barkley once said this was going to be the best program in football.
Vandy's no longer a layup, bro.
Yeah, closer than they've ever been post James Franklin at the very least. But, yeah, so they've got to figure out. They were a little clunky. In the second half, I want to say, I'm just looking here for the numbers, but they went through 4 straight drives, forced to punt, and not able to get a whole lot done. So they got to get that part of it going.
Yeah, I mean, look, plus the Hogs played really well. The crazy environment.
Mm-hmm.
They fed off it. And Arkansas is a good team. You're talking about an Arkansas team that has lost 12 one-possession games in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
12! That's like insanity. One of them, I don't know if you remember this, was when a game-winning field goal hit the top of the upright.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Which is crazy.
If it just clears the upright, still going over the top of it, it's good.
Might have lost money on that one. I do. As soon as you bring that up, that's one of the.
It hit the top of the upright, Joe.
That would be a SVP bad beat. That would qualify.
Let me try and explain that. I don't know if you're driving around or you're listening at the office.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't hit the upright.
Yeah.
On top of the upright, it hit as it was trying to clear it,
and then bounced.
And then it's no
good.
If it does that, it's no good, right? Yeah. If it had just cleared another inch higher, it's good.
Yeah. And so when you think about that, that's the stuff that you don't expect.
My! Imagine that. Imagine being that coach.
It's
of that
torturous.
Team, and you spent 9 months getting these guys ready to play. That's a rivalry game too, A&M.
Yeah.
You get in that game and that huge environment, and it's half and half. It's like a bowl game, and you lose it like that. If that doesn't make you want to go heave yourself off a tall building, I don't know what would. Seriously.
All right. So real quick, we mentioned Nico and some of these other guys that we basically have been treated to and enjoyed some of the play that they've put out there for us. Who's playing the best as the best college quarterback right now when we start taking a look at it? Because Carson was rocking along, then had the stumble, you can call it at the very least the stumble half against Alabama, right of the ship, but they were down 4 scores.
Right.
And so it was more of a comeback game. They did not get it done. Quinn Ewers looked sensational to begin with. then not so much, then got banged up. Now he's trying to win his job back. Jalen Milroe, we were handing him the Heisman after that game against Alabama. He didn't do anything to lose this game against Vandy because they still scored. You know how many points they scored? Like Jalen Milroe still could be considered playing the best. They scored 35 points on 46 plays.
Yeah.
That is it. So you have to give him some credit. Who do you think's playing the best, Leon?
I don't want to be a homer.
Yeah.
But the obvious is Cam Ward.
Is your man.
Absolutely.
Lead the nation in touch.
Thank you, RJ. Absolutely. This guy has 2,200 yards passing. He's completing 68% of his passes. He's got 20 touchdowns. He's ran for 3 of them, 161 yards. He's got the 5 picks now. 5 picks I don't like. But right now, Cam Ward
leads the NCAA in touchdowns and passing yards.
There it is, that part.
But in the 437 yards and 2 touchdowns that he threw for against Cal, 328 were in the second half. Now, granted, you guys were down a mile.
We were,
and so he was able to bring them back. But that is impressive.
It's impressive. And it scares me a little bit. I'll tell you why it scares me. I got Miami in the playoffs. But against a higher-tier team, you can't spot them 14, 17 points. Expect you're going to come back. Right? I mean, you can get away with it with Cal and Virginia Tech, but when you get to the Penn States, the Oregons, the Ohio States of the world, you can't do that. You're going to get destroyed.
OTR, the last 2 weeks, on the ropes, and they were getting pummeled, and they figured out a way to work their way out of that corner and score the win. You're happy they're off this week.
I am. Really, I am. So I can breathe. My heart's been palpitating the last.
And then they got to get on a run.
It's hard to argue with Cam Ward. I mean, you're talking about back-to-back, come from behind wins.
Yeah.
The numbers he's putting up. Jackson Dart's having a great year. Curtis Rourke at Indiana's having a fantastic year because he's a good player. Was a good player at at Ohio U, and then he gets with Curt Cignetti, who I'm going to say this again. If you can't get Lane Kiffin to Florida, Curt Cignetti.
Yeah.
Gets with Curt Cignetti, and he's tearing it up right now at Indiana.
Right. They're unbeaten.
I'll give you another one, too.
Yeah.
Diego.
Well,
Diego hasn't committed a turnover this year.
Diego!
5 games, no turnovers.
Yeah. Diego Pavia is a star, and he was a star before he beat Alabama. They loved him up there. He was that viral sensation, and they love him, and he was clean and green in that game.
Is he a recruit or is he a transfer guy?
No, he's transferred from New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Diego!
I love his energy after that game. Absolutely loved his energy.
Yeah, and so
I think you're thinking of like what was the show again? We were talking about this, the Apple Show.
Oh, Ted Lasso.
Yes, I think you're thinking of that guy in Ted Lasso, Baller's Life, that guy.
Well, yeah, but
you're trying to conflate the two is what you're trying to do.
No. I just like saying I like Diego. I like that. From my Mexican side,
right?
We had
your Menorcan side.
No, the Mexican side. We had the Patinos because my mom was a Vidari, married Ralph and Carmen, and then there were 26 grandkids spread all over the place. Well, anyway, Aunt Teresa married Diego Patino. And so I like yelling Diego
Aren't
in
the
honor of him.
Menorcans like Spanish or near Spain? Where are the Menorcans from?
Menorca is right off the coast of Spain.
Right.
We came here.
So Diego could kind of fit in there too.
It would qualify there as well. Right. We came over as indentured service. I'm just strictly speaking of Uncle Diego when I say that. But yeah, we came over as indentured servants. Sons of the Ponce family.
Yes.
Yeah, we all had to work back then. All right, let's get into the 3 o'clock hour. More on these ball games. You got Oklahoma, Texas. You got Ole Miss, LSU. Do you smell another upset there? We'll get into a few of those. We'll get back to your Jags and the Bears. Bears right now, a 2-point pick in this ball game, so we'll definitely jump in on that. It is XL Primetime.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers.
1010XL Weekly is your one-stop shop for all things Jags, college ball, preps, and more. Subscribe to our newsletter today, and you'll be entered to win free tickets to the Packers game this October. Subscribe, just head on over to 1010XL.com and scroll down to the 1010XL Weekly Flash page.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Lauren Brooks for Big Chief Tire. Right now, Big Chief is offering 6-month financing with their CFNA card, plus $50 off your first purchase. With no interest for 6 months, it's the perfect time to take care of your vehicle's needs, whether that's new tires, brakes, or other services. Their skilled technicians are here to help get you back on the road safely and affordably. Visit BigChiefService.com or call 904-932-0950 to apply and take advantage of this great deal. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Ackerman Cancer Center offers women's health, diagnostic, and screening services, including contract-enhanced mammography and total body MRI. Early detection is the key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
This is Walker Little of your Jacksonville Jaguars for Kingfish Pest Control. I've been a Kingfish customer for a while now and can confirm that their service is incredible. Not only do they protect my family from pests, Kingfish's office staff is the friendliest around. They even email me a photo of the tech before arriving at my home. Kingfish Pest Control is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Be sure to enter their Swat That Kick sweepstakes for free pest control for 3 years. Go to kingfishpest.com and tell them Walker Little sent you.
Everyone who puts on a high school football uniform dreams of Friday Night Glory. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, Friday Night Lights. Join Hacker and Andrew Gibson, presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit BarryOrthopedics.com.
Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Are you an experienced plumber or welder with MedGas certification and you're tired of being undervalued? It's time to make the move to Local 234 Plumbers, Pipe Fitters, and HVAC Technicians. With the best pay in the business, you'll earn $36.50 an hour. With benefits, that's almost $50. It's not just a job, it's a career that values you. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
At Hidden Hills Golf Club, we truly love the game of golf. We invite you to book your next tee time here and enjoy a golfing experience that you might not find at other public facilities. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed is taking action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit, lowering mortgage rates big time. Prosser here. That means this is the best chance in 2 years to do a cash-out refi and unlock all that equity at an amazing rate. Loan Pronto has fixed loans under 5% APR, the lowest in 2 years. You can get a fast refi and get $50,000 to $75,000, even $100,000 in cash. Use it to pay off all your credit cards, personal loans, car loans. You'll end up with one payment each month. And for most homeowners, they save over $850 every month. If you want to keep your original mortgage intact, ask about the Loan Pronto Express Equity Line of Credit. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Picking here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
The Jaguars are back at Everbank Stadium to go head-to-head with the Green Bay Packers for our crucial catch game. Join us October 27th as we fight cancer through early detection, risk reduction, and awareness all game long. Lock in your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you there.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local print management partner and home to Xerox and HP copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
GoABSinc.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by your First Coast Honda dealers. Georgia head coach Kirby Smart and quarterback Carson Beck heard some criticism after the Dogs lost to Alabama. Now Georgia rebounded with a victory against Auburn, but Smart is still defending his quarterback.
Nobody really understands what Carson does in our offense, and you can't appreciate it unless you know it. So I understand the scrutiny that he's under, just like me. He's the quarterback and I'm the head coach. We're going to be under immense scrutiny. But Carson Beck is a tough winner, competitor, and leader. I'll go to war with a guy anytime.
It's 77 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
1:39 to go. Here's Greer. Lot of time. Got it! Antonio Callaway down the sidelines. Touchdown, Florida.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
When you can't hear that great voice because the sound of the crowd is so loud, you know you made yourself a big play. And what could have been, what might have been, the Greer to Callaway play was one of the best. One for the ages, that's for sure. Rocky Top has already texted and goes, WTH are the Vols plays. Well, maybe they're up there in Knoxville. Maybe they're replaying up there. I don't know. Maybe in Nash.
Haven't we been talking about this game now for how long?
Yeah.
At least 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. But I'm saying.
Oh, he wants more like Vols.
Yeah, all the highlights
play-by-play?
are pro Florida. Have you noticed?
I mean, we are 70 miles from Gainesville.
Yeah, and just take a look at the rivalry. It's been one-sided. There's no
right. You have lost 17 in the last 19.
There is something about that as well. That's for sure. The comment from Kirby Smart talking about Carson Beck, and you take a look at what he did the other Saturday against Auburn, the oldest rivalry in the South. He was 23 of 29. He threw for 240 yards, a couple touchdowns, so he's playing clean football. He just isn't playing that over-the-top football because I think most people would have been thinking Carson Beck would be among the best in the game right now, just as far as the conversation is concerned. But going back to that play, Tennessee, Florida was defined for a lot of years by those big plays, big point explosions on either side, and we were treated to it. And they went back and forth just in terms of great games, great finishes, great scores, this and that. But in the end, what'd you say? 17 of 19.
17 of 19.
Yeah. And so that definitely can take its toll on one fan base, and that's why they are just chomping at the bit right now. So we'll talk a little more Florida, Tennessee, get into those other big games we were mentioning. But right now, let's do this.
Now, the Seminole Point of View with Rick Ballou. Brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard. Dream it, drive it.
The truth teller is known for telling the truth. I think that's how the nickname actually kind of manifested itself. But another loss in this one to a rival in the Clemson Tigers at home at Doak. Let's say hello to Rick as we talk about that 29-13 L. And Rick, it's not getting any better. They did make a quarterback change due to injury. They were hoping for more, and then unfortunately they just didn't get it, did they?
No, they didn't. And, I think the score doesn't tell the story if you didn't watch the game. Clemson is a much better football team in really every phase.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of life, though, thrown into Florida State with Brock Glenn getting an opportunity. He actually played much better football than I thought he would. They don't help him out. They had 5 huge drops. If you go back to some earlier conversations that we had, I said I had absolutely no faith in these fifth-year seniors, particularly Tier and Williamson, and in consecutive plays, they drop balls that you have to catch. I mean, Williamson looked like a Southerner on ice skates for the first time, and he just lost his feet, and it would have been a touchdown. And, he's a fifth-year guy. He shouldn't be on the football field. And that's what Florida State is dealing with right now. You got to get these guys off the field. You got to get Morlock off the field. You got to get Portier and Williamson off the field. You got to get these useless players out of there and play some young guys. And they did that with the tight ends, and both tight ends made big plays on Saturday for Florida State. So, what's the difference between 2-10, 3-9, or 4-8? Nothing. It's awful. Play the kids, get them ready, see what you have, so you can breathe a little bit of life into the program for 2025.
So, Rick, I'm not saying that Cromartie won't eventually be the starter. All I'm saying is Brock Glenn did not play that poorly in that game, number one. Number two, I think he showed a lot of what you and I saw on that flex field in preseason. He's got a live arm, man. He can make every throw.
Absolutely. Yeah, and, as I said, he was better than I ever thought he would be. I'm going to give him credit. I don't know if he's the answer. Certainly we'll find out here with much more football ahead of him, but there's no help. I mean, the offensive line is really poor. Florida State's averaging 58 yards a game rushing, okay? It is next to Kent State. It is dead last in America. There are 74 Division I football players right now individually who have more rushing yards than Florida State has as a team. And if Florida State's Brock Glenn didn't pick up 10 yards on the last play on just basically a quarterback keeper, they would be dead last behind Kent State as the worst rushing team in college football. So when you look at Brock Glenn, he's got receivers that drop the ball. He's got no offensive line, and he's got no rushing attack. So he's basically a one-man operation out there trying to make plays. And it's difficult to figure out, what would he be like with a decent play caller? What would he be like with a decent rushing attack and a decent offensive line? So it's hard, I think, to really define what this young man is all about because there are no equal parts that surround him.
Rick, at this particular time when you're 1-5, if I'm the coaching staff, I'm doing an evaluation of the locker room because, you got kids there that you recruited and you got kids that you brought in the transfer portal. And the kids that you recruit are a little bit more vested because they've always wanted to go there. Kids that come there from the transfer portal are trying to get exposure. So, I mean, if you're a coaching staff, you're paying attention to the dynamics of the locker room because, right now when you're losing, adversity shows its color.
Well, there's no doubt about that, but where I am with this program is I'd fire all these coaches. I would keep Mike Norvell. I would keep Patrick Surtain. I know he's really good buddies with Alex Atkins, but he's been terrible as an offensive line coach. He doesn't call plays. Again, it's completely, absolutely inexcusable that in an era of NIL, this man can get caught for cheating and lying. I mean, it's just absolutely, how can that happen in an NIL era?
You got to be bad at what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to do whatever you want, and you got caught cheating, and you got caught lying. And whenever I hear that excuse, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Why would you even want that man, to be a part of your program? They got to fire Adam Fuller. It feels like every week we talk about special teams. Now, they did block some kicks. Mm-hmm. I'll give them some credit there. That was impressive, and, they've had a very good punter and a very good kicker, but if you're asking your assistants, your position coaches, to evaluate which kids play hard, which kids are part of your program, I don't know how you can trust it. You're paying them, so sure, let them do their job. But again, I mean, there's some great Seminoles there. Ron Dugans was phenomenal when he was, next to Peter Warwick, and they won a national title. Ron Dugans is a Tallahassee kid who went to FAMU High, and I love him, but he's terrible. He hasn't produced anyone, and Bell is not his. Johnny Wilson is not his. They came from Michigan State and Arizona State. Florida State doesn't produce wide receivers. Odell Higgins has been there for 27 years. I went to school with Odell Higgins. He has a criminology degree like I do. The game is passed by Odell Higgins. He's not getting anything out of these players. So you've got to you can't fire Mike Norvell. You're paying him $10 million a year, and he's got a $65 million buyout. You've got to fire the assistant coaches right now at Florida State. That's the only way that this thing is going to be able to take a turn again for the positive.
Yeah, the one positive, they were pitiful again on defense. They gave up a bunch of yards to Phil Maffa, but the only good thing is you stopped them in the red zone, 5 field goals from Clemson, and so you can at least draw on that a little bit. But you're right, Rick. One side letting the other side down has been a common theme all season long.
Yeah, it has. And, I think the biggest surprise for me is in the ditch. I thought this would be a really good football team, a very stout defensive line, and a very good offensive line. They looked apart when we watched them practice. Very spirited, old-school kind of board drill that they did the second day out there on the campus of University of North Florida. And, it's just disappointed. And, you start hearing things like not wanting to be there, not playing hard, not being fully invested, not having the motor running, just awful words to describe your effort with a football team. And this happened immediately. This didn't happen after, a rough season. You're playing out the last couple of games. I mean, this happened in the first quarter against Georgia Tech. So it's just been sideways the entire year. And I almost never say this. I can't think of a time where I've ever said it. I always want them to make a bowl. I don't care what the team is. You get those extra 15 practices. You get that extra month. And, you can get to a bowl game. Florida State needs their season to end today. They don't need to play any more games. They don't need to be around each other anymore. They need to blow. They literally need to bring back about.
Team. Is that what you're saying?
They need to bring back 2 coaches, Mike Norvell, Patrick Surtain, and they need to bring back about 20 players.
Yeah,
that's it, and just say goodbye to everyone else that is a part of the stench that has been the program with the 2024 Florida State Seminoles. It is the worst football team I have ever seen them have since I was a freshman there in 1987. And there is some talent. There is some draftable NFL players. But when you look at the will and the effort and everything else, it's just disgusting.
Worse than the Taggart
I can't say anything good about them.
Worse than the Taggart years?
The Taggart years, listen, Willie Taggart couldn't coach, but I still think that those players, there was some effort there. I thought the effort went sideways a little bit with guys like Marvin Wilson and Kane Doe and Janarius Robinson and Hazardine and players like that. I thought the effort went a little bit sideways there, but that was like the year that was like the Mike Mularkey team here, or the first year that Dave Caldwell and Gus Bradley got together. Just how incredibly non-talented those 2 Jaguar teams were. That's the way I look at the Willie Taggart years. They weren't a well-coached team. But I thought the effort, for the most part, was there. That's what's most disturbing about this year's team. It's the effort. It's not 110% every play.
Yeah, and it's creeped in more than one program, that's for sure, because that question's been asked across the board. All right, what's coming up later on? Have you battened down the hatches, Rick? In
I just dropped off the girlfriend at the airport. She's going off to Dallas for like a month or two, and all that good stuff. No, she's going to pick up the granddaughter and have a good time there, so that'll be fun. Her granddaughter. I'm waiting on a call back from Yurkovich. Apparently he changed his phone number, so I'm hoping to have Yurko on tonight to talk some Bears, Jaguars, and we'll go out to Las Vegas tonight. Check the latest on the odds with our good friend Rafael Esparza. So. Yeah, I'm right now on out here in Bartram Springs, just a light drizzle. It's just a normal day here in Jacksonville so far, and that's good news.
The truth teller and the meteorologist, Rick Ballou. All right, bro, we'll be listening later.
Thanks, guys, as always.
All right, at Ballou 1010XL.
Esparza tonight.
Yeah, Rafael Esparza. You know Rick rolls the R's. He does, 100%.
He also could be Menorcan.
Yeah.
Esparza.
Rafael. Yeah, I think he lands on the other side. Like I said, my Mexican Menorcan heritage. I'm just guessing what side he's on. All right, so let's stay on that theme as far as college is concerned. Then back to your Jags. We don't know where Gio is, but we're going to try and hook up with him. We'll find out coming up in just a bit on XL Primetime.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. He's mastered the art of incognito.
Charming, sophisticated secret agent.
Hayes Carline takes you behind enemy lines 5 hours before kickoff on 1010XL. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, Garber wiggle.
At Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it. Best price, we can wiggle it. Best trade value, we can wiggle it. Best payment, we can wiggle it. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. With 8 American brands, we can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or online at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, Garber wiggle.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
When a plumbing or septic emergency happens, you want to have your ducks in a row with a company you can trust. Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is the #1 company on the First Coast. Check out our reviews online, duckduckrooter.com.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Trayvon Walker was a terror Sunday in Jacksonville. The 6'5 defensive end tallied 5 tackles and 3 sacks, as well as a forced fumble against the Colts. Whenever the defense was in doubt, they could rely on Trayvon Walker to lay Indianapolis out. Trayvon Walker is your Superior Fence and Rail's Defensive Player of the Game.
If you're tired of your fence looking like a bad hair day, well, it's time for a fence makeover with Superior Fence and Rail. They'll make your yard the talk of the town with a new fence installed by their expert team.
Your fence is fantastic. My fence is giving all of my neighbors some serious pick and envy. Thanks, Superior Fence and Rail.
So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your fence installation project today.
Superior Fence FenceandRail.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish. And he's listening to the Nimnicht Outdoors Show.
With tips and stories.
Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Every Saturday morning, 7 to 10.
On 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. Have you been betting and winning at MyBookie.com? If you haven't bet with MyBookie yet, they are still running the double deposit bonus. Just sign up with promo code 1010XL. We are on to NFL Week 6. There are a ton of college matchups that run through the weekend as well. Get some skin in the game. You should certainly have your eye on that spread for Florida versus Tennessee on Saturday night. Then you know we play the Bears to kick off NFL Sunday morning. The Jaguars probably going to be a slight underdog. If you think the Jags can win in London, bet it. But then the surging Commanders play the Ravens, the Cowboys play the Lions, and then for Sunday Night Football, you have the Bengals traveling to New York to play the Giants. For a limited time, MyBookie still has that double deposit bonus. Use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus. That doubles your money on your very first deposit up to $1,000. Double your money with 1010XL before you even place a bet. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast orthopedic specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast orthopedic specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast orthopedic specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast orthopedic specialists.
It's a scary time of year.
Especially for North Florida jewelry stores. It's a buy one, get one free on wedding bands. Happening now through Halloween.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Our next guest is not affiliated with the NFL or Jacksonville Jaguars.
Discussion of injuries is solely based on opinion.
Now, the Bari Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Injury Breakdown.
I'm coming in hot.
You know what we've got right now? Do you know what we have? Okay? We're right now under siege by a storm that's just barreling out of the Gulf towards Tampa Town, really towards Sarasota now. That's the latest.
It's moving again. It's moving north now.
Is it moving north again? Back towards Tampa? Oh, those
wiggling.
savages. Those
wiggling.
If you have a storm that wiggles, it is not good because it makes everybody worry. But
it's the Garber wiggle.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good.
Yeah, we got that one barreling down on us, and now you know what we have? We have Euro Geo.
Fancy boy.
Euro Geo. Geo, what's happening?
What's going on, guys?
Listen, you have made the trip, and you left
tired, right?
Yeah, he's. What time is it? 9 o'clock. Wake up.
It's 9:25 p.m.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Wake up.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you got all night to party. Come on.
Listen, you know that there's a tropical storm now coming my way here.
Are you kidding?
Tomorrow?
There's not.
No, I'm not kidding. I promise.
That's nuts. All right, listen.
There's one coming here tomorrow. I brought it with me.
That's so funny. All right, round of applause because you know what he did? He took the youngsters. He's taken young Michael and young George over there to see the Jags and the Bears. Okay, he is a diehard Jaguar fan. Mrs. Dr. Bari fired up as well. So we will get to the game coming up in a second. But if you have any sports injury questions, you can hit Gio with him. Fellowship trained under the renowned Dr. James Andrews, 641-1010. He of Bari Orthopedics right here in the beautiful city of Jacksonville. So, Gio, one of the biggest ones coming out of this game, the Jags game, they finally got off the schneid, got in the win column, but one of the Colts offensive linemen, Will Fries, he went down with a tibia injury, pretty significant injury, and then they had to have surgery. And I know you looked at a little bit at the way the actual play unfolded, but describe what a big man like that's dealing with surgery on his tibia.
Actually, that day. So that has to be a tibial fracture, right? There's no other reason to do a surgery that day unless you have a tibial shaft fracture. And usually for those, you can nail them. They put a rod in your tibial shaft. And so that's a terrible injury. I mean, luckily it's not a joint because joint injuries are worse, but it's going to take at least 6 months to come back from that. So he's obviously out for the season, and they did that surgery that day in Jacksonville because I know they splinted him thinking it was a fracture, and then I read he ended up doing it that day.
Right. Explain that a little bit more because as soon as they put the air cast on him, that they knew immediately they had to address this, correct?
Yeah, they probably felt some crepitus or some grinding, or when they lift his leg up, they could tell that the leg just kind of maybe has a little flop in it like it shouldn't. And so they have X-rays in the back, and every NFL stadium they get X-rays. Sure enough, it's broken, and then ship him off to do the surgery. This is all assumption because I obviously was not there, and they're not saying it was a fracture, but that's the only thing I can think of that would cause an immediate surgery that day.
All right, Gio, help everybody figure this out, okay? We're all trying to figure this out in our head and wrap our mind around this. Tyson Campbell, this is 8 games last year because of that hamstring. It was 8 months, and they're very careful with it, okay? Gets on the field, and within, what game was he hurt at? Third game? Second game?
No, the first game.
First game it was? Gio, how do you go 8 months of rehab and getting it strong and ready to play, and then right out of the gate, you're out, and then you're on injured reserve? How does that even happen?
For the same injury.
Same injury. Same hamstring.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I have seen high school players that come in and they re-injure the same hamstring. They probably have a tendency to injure. It could be the way they're running. It could be their mechanics.
All right. Gio, we are losing you, unfortunately.
Man, that was a great question.
Yeah,
it was. Everybody in Duval's going.
It was laid out very well.
Right.
You may have stolen all of his cell service.
Plus, everyone in Duval's trying to figure out why the hell this kid is not playing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you what Jimmy used to tell us.
You're a former
I'm gonna tell you what
player.
Jimmy used to tell us when we used to pull stuff. He said your lack of conditioning is the reason why you pull and stuff.
Because it is a soft tissue.
Yes, it's a soft tissue.
All right, Gio, we're gonna try one more time. You back?
Yeah.
You good?
Gio, you're killing the people in Duval, man. They want the answer.
I heard the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be from your mechanics and how you run that you're just more prone to injuring that area, and so that could be the reason why he hurts the same one twice now. I definitely have seen some high school athletes that re-injure the same one over and over again, and my assumption would be it's a mechanical problem because when you had 8 months to rest, there's no reason it should improve unless you're more prone on the way that you do things to injure that body part.
So by mechanical, you mean literally the way he runs?
Yeah, I mean, most hamstring stretches or pulls are hyper extension of your leg, right? 40-yard dash, people pull up on their hamstring because they're trying to extend that leg out to get as big of a stride as possible. That could be a big reason why.
All right, Gio. Last week in London, the Jets played the Minnesota Vikings. Ron,
before firing his head coach.
Yeah, but the coach eviscerator. He took a hit with the defensive tackle, and he was screaming. And immediately everybody was thinking that was, his Achilles, but it ended up being a low ankle sprain. I mean, how does that affect? Does that affect the Achilles in any capacity?
No, it shouldn't affect it. They're two different. Obviously, right there at the ankle, but there's things that got injured. The ankle sprain is your anterior talofibular ligament usually, and then the Achilles is obviously the Achilles tendon. Although they're in the ankle, they are separate mechanisms of injury, so it shouldn't affect it directly in any way.
All right, listen, we're going to turn you loose because we know that you're having so much fun and you're getting ready for that game and you got a lousy cell signal right now. But are the kids jacked? They're fired up, correct?
Yes, they're excited, and I'll report to you on Sunday how it goes.
All right, that sounds good. Best food you've eaten since you've been over in Europe?
I've had a lot of pastries when I was in Paris, so I think I'm going to come back heavier than what I was when I left.
Have you had beans and toast, Gio?
No, I go to London.
We're losing you again.
All right,
Listen, have fun over there. Big. We'll see you later. All right.
Freaking me out.
Dr. George Barry. Definitely check him out, Barry Orthopedics. We got Breaking Bones, which will come up after the fifth quarter this week because of his travels over there. So look forward to that. You got that full Sunday. Starts very early, and then you've got the Jags taking on the Bears post-game show to follow, the fifth quarter to follow that with Big Searcy, Hack, Coach Campo, and then we will have Breaking Bones after that. It is XL Primetime Cycles of Jacks bringing you today's show. Don't forget, if you are looking for a big generator that can get the job done, they are open until 6 today. They do have those big generators. They'll be bringing more stuff in by Friday. If you are out of power, make sure you check them out. Normally the place for fun, but they also want to be there to help you on Atlantic near Regency.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL. Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
In the game's final moments, the Young Guns would show their Mamba mentality with the help of their QB and rookie kicker. Thanks to an 8-play sequence capped off by a Cam Little 49-yard field goal, Jacksonville would take a 3-point lead with 17 seconds left in regulation. The 39-yard drive is your Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
I'm Chris Campione. In a world of big box law firms with satellite offices, there's something special about having a local legal team that cares about you and your community. We're not just lawyers, we're your neighbors. We understand the unique challenges facing the Jacksonville community because we live here too. At Campione Law, Campione Cares isn't just a tagline, it's our commitment to you. Campione Law, your trusted lawyers after an accident. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
Everything about the game has changed, except for the most important thing. What you have inside. It is what drives the game. It refuses to be ignored. It sweats everything, turns an athlete into a legend. Gatorade, is it in you?
From Gatorade Zero to Gatorade Endurance Formula and Gator Light, there's something for every athlete. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Gatorade, official partner of the NFL.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie, and I've depended on South State for my banking needs as long as they've been serving Duval. Whether you're saving for retirement, purchasing a home, starting a business, your goals are their commitment. With forward-thinking, personalized banking solutions and best-in-class service, South State is ready to help you navigate your financial journey. Connect at southstatebank.com or drop by any of the 5 local South State offices. South State Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 9, 1966, the Baltimore Orioles win their first World Series championship in franchise history after a 4-0 sweep over the LA Dodgers.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue, and boy, they have outdone themselves with specials this month. If you love mac and cheese, then you've got to try the Mac Attack. Creamy mac and cheese topped with your choice of meat. That's right, you can get smoked turkey, pork, brisket, or sausage. If you like things spicy, try the Duval Hot Chicken. Delicious chicken tenders tossed in buffalo sauce. Head to your local Bono's to get the Mac Attack or the Duval Hot Chicken today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
This is Hayes Carlion for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
Lickety Split AC Plumbing and Electric is now hiring. If you have a 5-star mentality to provide world-class custom plumbing or electrical solutions, you should work with Lickety Split. Their team is incredibly supportive, positive, and dedicated to being the best. If you have a valid driver's license with at least 18 months of experience, apply at Lickety Split, an equal opportunity employer offering competitive pay, a service truck, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Hiring management positions too. Visit licketysplitfl.com.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com.
This is Keith Scott with Veterans Wholesale Cabinets. We are Northeast Florida's cabinet experts and your best option to elevate your home improvement project for both homeowners and contractors, and attention to detail to every project. VeteransWholesaleCabinets.com.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Today, the Jaguars announced that number 1 cornerback Tyson Campbell has been designated for return from injured reserve. Campbell has missed the past 4 games after suffering a hamstring injury in Week 1 at Miami. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson this morning on Campbell's imminent return.
We're excited to be in a position to open his window, and really it just allows him to work himself back into practice, right? He's been training and rehabbing, and it's different than football movements, and it's a way for us as coaches too to monitor that, and looking forward to him getting out there with the guys and see where it goes here in the next couple of weeks.
Doug Peterson this morning. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
Well, my takeaway is that this Jaguar team has 2 games in London, and the football gods have shined upon us. 2 rookie quarterbacks? Really? Are you serious? Huh? We can't come away with a victory with 2 rookie quarterbacks in London. We got problems.
Well, I'll just follow that with, thank God one of them's not Jaden Daniels.
Oh, yeah, that part. Yeah, that part.
Because his rookie performance thus far, woo, pretty good.
Yeah, he's really good. My takeaway is Florida's going to need some turnovers. Gators are going to need some turnovers to win that game. Doesn't mean they can't. I'm just saying that's a night game. That place is going to be hepped up, man.
Yeah.
It will be wild. And, they know what happened the year before. They're very aware of what happened in that game. The little fight near the end of the game. Remember that?
Yeah.
So they know what's going on. Tennessee will be ready. Florida got a little confidence after beating UCF.
Mm-hmm.
The Big Bad Knights,
Yes, they are.
Let's see what happens, man. Let's see what kind of oomph you bring to the fight. How about that?
All right, my takeaway is that I hope everybody's good to go when it comes to this storm, wherever you are. I'm thinking most of us, like our big, wide listening audience that stretches all the way up into Georgia, you guys to the north will be fine. You guys to the south, just make sure you're good to go. And make sure you check on the people that you care about, because that'll be important. That's for sure. But hopefully everybody be good, and we won't take on too much of it. The last time we saw it, it was crossing the state about Melbourne range, Matty?
Yeah, Melbourne range, yeah.
That sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we'll still get plenty of rain, plenty of wind, but hopefully we will all be good to go. And just take us with you wherever you are, because with 1010XL, we will be right there side by side. Speaking of those that are side by side right now.
Here's a bold fact brought to you by Bold City Brewery, Duval's first craft brewery. Online at boldcitybrewery.com.
So I talked to my man Brian over at Bold City Brewery. I'm like, this is Barstool weather, bro. It's Barstool weather. I said, where are you at? I said, just give me an idea of these hours. He said, we opened at noon. Trivia from 6 to 8. Closing at 9 tonight. So if you want to head to Bold City Brewery, check them out right there on Roselle Street in Riverside, the production house. You definitely can check it out there. And Bold City downtown, on Bay Street when you're heading to the Jags game. The next one, you'll find them right there in beautiful downtown Jacksonville. They got their party on the 12th, which is Saturday. We should be good to go. Their anniversary celebration, 16 years, live music all day. Got a chance to win free pints for a year, free growler fill-ups for a year, all sorts of other great prizes, great food. It'll all be happening. Log on boldcitybrewery.com. All right.
Did you say free pints for a year?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking. Enter to win free pints or free growler fill-ups for a year. And look, I love that free pint play, but free growler fills, even better for 1 year. All right, hit this play, RJ.
Trevor drops and looks. Fires deep downfield. Got a man. It's Brian Thomas Jr. 50 in the Colts territory. 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr. just went 85 yards. How good is that? And the Jags have taken the lead.
Happy Frange, play-by-play, Brian Thomas Jr., superstar. That was the longest touchdown toss for the Jacksonville Jaguars since who? Who threw? Who caught? Longest touchdown pass.
Well, I know who caught Allen Robinson is the catcher. The thrower was
Gotta be Blake.
Gotta be the boat.
Yeah.
The boat.
Year?
The year
12. 13.
No, I'm gonna say 20.
No, Blake, what am I saying? It's got to be 18?
I'm say 15.
17?
All right, there we go, right over there. 2015. Give him a big yes. Now listen to this. That was a 90-yard touchdown pass. It was the longest regular season play in franchise history then. Still can remain in the annals of Jaguar history, but it's just so funny going back and reading some of the stuff surrounding that play. It was a 90-yard Blake to A-Rob. Zane Beadles had just wiped out an explosive 20-yard rushing attempt by Jonas Gray. Remember the great Zane Beadles and Jonas Gray era of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
No, I don't.
That was in the third quarter. Jags at their own 10-yard line. A-Rob found himself matched up one-on-one against the Saints corner and took it to the house. By the way, Blake, the boat, was on his way to putting together that record-setting season, passing Mark Brunell as the most prolific passer in Jaguars history. As he went over, he shattered Bruce touchdown.
Shattered
record, yeah.
Didn't Chew have a deep throw too? Like DJ Chark?
I'm trying to remember. Not sure. This was the longest since 2015.
No, I know it wasn't.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't longer than that. I'm saying I thought he had
trying
like
to remember.
a 70-yarder.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
Speaking of that, I do think we can hit of that for the name you just mentioned, Matty.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So they're sitting our man G down. Aiden O'Connell is going to step in. And they basically put him in for Gardner in this last game. But they have made the decision. Aiden O'Connell will start Sunday against the Steelers. Antonio Pierce announcing that. And look, G had an opportunity, but you got a lot of stuff that's just not going right there, including Devontae Adams saying, get me up and out.
That's what I was saying. There's a lot going on in Las Vegas, huh?
And I don't know whether like Gardner and him never really quite got that vibe going, because when Gardner took over for Anthony Richardson last year up in Indy, he immediately started hooking up with Michael Pittman, and it was just a nice connection. Well, Devonta Adams, I figured out how to get the ball to him. But Aaron Rodgers, it was a lot of his stuff was either, the quick throw or those deep plays, whereas Gardner seemed to be hooking up with a couple of the other guys that are on that Raiders receiving depth chart, be it Jacoby Myers or whomever else.
I saw something on social media where Shedeur Sanders was at an event. Raiders owner was at the event. He said, "You might as well just stay in Vegas."
Well, look.
Hey, is that tampering?
Yeah, it might be.
I don't know. It's tampering. It's kind of reality.
Yeah, but if you're tampering for yourself, I guess it wouldn't be necessarily considered that. But honestly, when you think about it, all these quarterbacks, and we just kind of scratched the surface on this, but I'm just going to go back to it real quick. When you start thinking about what all these quarterbacks are, and we mentioned Carson Beck might have been considered one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks coming in to begin this year. And he's dropped a little bit because he's got to make sure that, that he's delivering all those big numbers, which unfortunately that's what everyone's looking for. When you're Heisman talking, you got to look for those big numbers.
The season is young, bro. The season is young.
It really is. And by the way, he can win it in November. Let's make this the 10-10 take real quick, because honestly, that's when most of them solidify or make their case for being a Heisman winner.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pit masters since 68.
So I went to Sonny's last night. The one thing that I did learn was that they are constantly ordering in advance to make sure they got plenty of food for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Well, when the storm comes, they may have to close their doors. That means they got good ribs, good chicken, all that stuff. How about you help them? Help yourself. You head on in there tonight, get you a good meal, maybe get you something to go. That way you don't have to worry about cooking, and they make sure they take care of all of that, because there are plenty of restaurants that are probably dealing with that, staff and whatnot. So anyway, head on in to any one of your area Sonny's and kind of pick up some extras for whatever time you may be at home. But when you take a look at the quarterback play, and we have been treated to some real masterpieces so far this season, but it is a little upside down right now when you start taking a look at who maybe would be the number 1 quarterback taken off the board. Cam Ward would have been in the discussion to start the year, but would he have been at the top of your list? Not quite sure. We just mentioned Shedeur. He's definitely going to be up there. But you now have Jalen Milroe entering the equation. Jackson Dart, yeah, he definitely was one of the guys they were talking about before. But when you start adding them all up, Dylan Gabriel, he right now leads the country in completion percentage. We're going to find out how he looks against a pretty good Buckeye defense. Garrett Nussmeier, that cat is throwing for a ton of yards and touchdowns, 15 touchdowns in an LSU uniform that he finally was able to step into as a starter. So the 10-10 take is we've got a lot of good quarterbacks out there, and who will walk away with the Heisman? It's usually a quarterback over every other position, but we still may see Travis Hunter step up.
Ashton Genty.
Yeah, Genty, the running back from Boise State.
I was just thinking about him. I saw his stats.
Crazy.
I saw his stats yesterday on social media. He is lighting them up, isn't he?
Bro, believe me.
His yards per rush.
He needs to average. So if he plays a 13-game season, which would be a full season plus a bowl game, or a full season plus the Mountain West Championship game, which is 13, he needs to average 200 yards a game over those games to break Barry Sanders' record.
Whoa.
Now here's what's even more important. Barry Sanders averaged 31 carries a game that year. Genty's averaging 19.
He right now
he's averaging 10.8 yards per carry right now.
16 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Already.
His season is just as impressive as what Barry Sanders put up then.
And by the way, he ran like Oregon when we're trying to figure out what's going to happen between the Ducks and the Buckeyes. He ran all over that Oregon defense. And now you got Ohio State with 2 guys, Quinshawn and Travion, that are going to be running. And Oregon better figure out a way to button that bad boy up, because they gave up their share of yards to Genty.
I love what the kid is doing. The boy just stay. I want to burst his butt up a little bit. I'm the Barry Sanders.
I'm with you on that.
Went up against Oklahoma and Nebraska.
I'm with you on that. Have you watched him play this year?
Absolutely. I was watching this family last night.
He's a real
dynamic.
deal,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he has played. Has he played Washington and Oregon?
No, they played Washington State.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, I was just trying to remember which one, because they've at least faced Power 4, if you still want to include Washington State, as among those. They used to qualify for that, but he is impressive. He really is. He's been fun to watch.
He's going to be a really good NFL back for what? How long NFL backs last, Leon? 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah, at 30 they're old.
Yeah. Well, just as an example right here, Tank Bigsby may take over Travis Etienne's job because he might be a more physical runner. I do look at him and see first, second down runner more than I do Etienne. And Etienne, they picked up that option, but he's in that fourth year. And you know how quickly they get hit a lot.
By the way, Aston Genty, hometown, birthplace, Jacksonville.
Which is crazy. Did you do any?
I'm going out there next week, doing a profile on him, yeah.
That's pretty cool. We're going to have to find out how in the heck he left Duval and ended up somewhere.
He's an Army brat. His dad's.
Is that what it is?
Dad went all over the place, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I look forward to that. That's awesome. You know what else I look forward to? This man.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
The embedded and shredded looked at me. He's like, "Are you hitting on me?"
My
right now?
guy, my hype man.
Oh,
Joe C.
What is up?
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't know. We if you were going to be locked up with one television for the next 72 hours, this would be a pretty good weekend.
It would be.
To survive a storm, would it not?
It would be. It would be. You've got, particularly if you love baseball. I'm not much of a baseball guy, but you got four.
This may be the last day I get to wear my Dodgers.
You guys
Those
are
savages.
You guys are in a little bit of a pinch.
I hate Fernando. I hate Manny. I hate them all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 9 o'clock tonight. So yeah.
And by the way, Ohtani, Mookie, feel free to just get loose with the bat. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So, but yeah, without a doubt, it'll be a great football weekend, and hopefully the Jags get it done and can start righting the ship. And I'm not expecting much from the Gators, but feel free to go upset the Vols in Rocky Top. That would be wonderful.
Now the line moved just a tick. It's at 2 points now. Bears still favored. But what do we know about the travel schedule or anything as far as the Jags?
I think they'll be fine. I would think they'd leave tomorrow afternoon, and I wouldn't think they'd have any
some cat wins that are going to be sweeping across the first coast.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be fine, but we'll see.
Cat wins.
Yeah,
It might be like a gust of 20 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, I've been listening to meteorologist Matt, and he's got me in the 50 to 70 mile an hour winds that we're going to be faced with.
I just hope, man, Tampa, I just hope they're okay.
Yeah,
because that is going to be tough, it looks like. But, our prayers are obviously with them. And we're going to have a fun Frangie show coming up. We'll have Sports and Courts. Brett Hastings will join us. That's always a fun segment. And we will have our State Farm College Football Roundup. So we will talk Canes. Leon, I'm going to give the Canes top billing today since you guys have the only respectable club among the three. But we'll talk Canes, Gators, and Knowles coming up as well. So, yeah, lots to get to on the Frangie Show.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Because Cam Ward, if you had to do a Heisman vote now.
I'd give it to Cam Ward.
Yeah,
I would.
He's been pretty sensational.
Over Travis Hunter, huh?
I would. Yeah, I like Travis Hunter. And
Genty?
And Genty is fantastic. So I was curious about that, too. I guess he graduated high school in Texas.
Yeah.
Because I was like, boy, did he, to your point, was he from here and just a hidden gem?
Right.
And I was like, okay, so he was born here, but he graduated high school in Texas.
Actually.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Joel Embiid being in Gainesville and then just getting out from underneath the...
Well, that's cool you're going out there. I look forward to that story. That's good.
All right, hey,
thank you, guys.
Sounds good, buddy. Thank you. We got the Frangie Show coming up. Again, just take care of yourself. There isn't any water to buy. There aren't any more batteries probably. But just make sure you got some candles and some cold ones.
No candles, Joe. No candles.
Why not?
You're not allowed to have candles. Come on.
Why?
Because that's just the way it is now, Joe.
Are you serious?
Flashlights.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Listen, I'm a candle. I got a little romantic.
There you go.
Here's another thing. Yeah. Don't run your generator inside your garage either.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
No.
Keep that outside.
And no candles either.
Me and Searcy, even though it ain't me and Searcy, we're both candle guys, are we not?
Scented at that.
All right, we're done. Don't forget Cycles of Jacksonville. Open until 6 today. Back open on Friday. Big generators, if you need them, they can definitely help you, especially if you are facing that reality that you might be out of power. They can definitely help you. on Atlantic near Regency and online at cyclesofjacksonville.com. Be safe. Keep 1010 piped in to wherever you are. Joe C., Matty Hayes, Big Searcy, and RJ. Francis Show coming up.
Everyone wants to doubt Jacksonville.